Yo, it's another Speak on the episode. It's your boy Akil. Back again with another episode. Last week we had one. Today we have a special guest, Katelyn. Appreciate you for coming on. So how's everything been going with you?
It's been, honestly, this time has been great. And unfortunately for some people, my heart goes out to the people that have been sick and everything.
Right.
But for me, I've taken a lot of time to debrief what has all happened this year. And honestly, I haven't had a second since last January to just breathe. So it's been really nice to journal and be really present with my thoughts.
Okay. I agree with that. I feel like this time has really, allowed me to figure out what's most important to me. And like being around my loved ones and figuring out what's the next step, after graduating and whatnot, is really giving me that time to breathe and figure out, what's next and whatnot. So during this time, have you hopped into any new TV shows, music, like what's going on with that?
I have been listening to so much music, but I've also been doing playing a lot of instruments.
Okay.
I ordered probably 10 different things. So I got a saxophone, an electric guitar.
Okay.
I already had 2 acoustic guitars, piano. I'm getting a hand pan in.
Okay.
A kalimba.
So everything, the whole set.
I've been trying to make my own music.
Okay.
And then what did I just start watching? Girls. And it's been awesome.
Yeah. As far as instruments, it's funny though, because I've been wanting to buy an acoustic guitar for months, but I keep putting it aside for whatever reason. But soon I want to hop into that and probably just watch some YouTube to really catch on how to really play it. But I'll do that. And as far as me when it comes to shows, only thing I really been keeping up with is Insecure. You watch Insecure? Have you seen it?
No, but I've heard so many great things about it.
Yeah, it's dope. It's based out of LA. I mean, can't complain. Issa Rae's, running in and everything. But this season, it's been kind of up and down. But the past seasons were really good, at least.
Well, yeah, no, I'm going to start that.
Okay, yeah, start that for sure. How do you feel with the lack of regard for people's own health and others during this whole time? We're seeing a lot of videos on social media, people really out partying. I think that's taking the next step during this time. I know for me, I wouldn't be partying. I mean, I'll hang around the people that are closest to me, but I don't know about going out and doing that whole thing. How do you feel about all that?
Yeah, I think partying is a different level. I feel like people have been getting mad at me because I spend a lot of time outside, which is not breaking the law right now.
Yeah, it's not at all. You gotta still step outside, get some air.
I don't know if I'm the best person to speak on this, but I definitely would say partying's
out.
It's out.
Hiking and everything,
hiking is great.
yeah. Go for all that, right? So we're gonna transition a little bit into just your upbringing and how gymnastics has been so pivotal during your life. So how old were you when you started and what really made you pursue gymnastics?
So I started when I was 3. My mom actually did it in high school.
Okay.
So she kind of put me in. She was like, you were doing cartwheels in the womb. I would play with toys upside down. I would climb up walls. I would flip over couches. So I just got put into it and I fell in love immediately. When I was 9, it was kind of everyone's she's different.
Okay.
And I got looked at from a coach that lived in Missouri. And from that moment, I moved and pursued the elite career, the Olympic career path.
Okay.
And made national team by the time I was 12. And by the time I was 16, I was miserable and injured. Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit. When you say you were miserable and everything because you got hurt, speak on, because it was your back, right? So mentally, physically, emotionally, what was that when it first happened and the whole recovery process?
I feel like have never really gotten to the recovery process.
Right.
But I remember I was so miserable with the sport that the first thing that I heard, or what I felt when they told me that I might not ever do gymnastics again, was I felt free and light, and I will never be judged again by the way I look or what I've done, and all these different things just came to mind. And so I was so relieved. And then I realized I was I don't like myself, and that's the only thing I'm left with. I've only done gymnastics. That's the only thing I know. So I went through this process. I went back to high school. It was my junior year of high school.
Okay.
And I was homeschooled the previous 4 years.
Okay.
So I kind of got exposed to a lot of things really fast and when I was in a dark place.
Right.
And then I got introduced to poetry. which was kind of what saved me. Yeah.
Okay.
And writing in general, my journals and all these different things. And I started finding a new goal path, which looked a lot like college gymnastics for me, but it was still like, I don't really know what gymnastics is like. But it took me a full year to get there because I hated the sport for so long, and me and my mom would constantly be in fights. I actually ran away during this time in my life.
That's crazy. That's crazy because I was going to ask you like what was your relationship like with your parents, like going through your childhood, really pursuing gymnastics and not really enjoying like a normal childhood, people would say. Like, how was that relationship with your parents?
There were ups and downs, you know, because I think as children we don't understand that our parents, honestly, for the most part, they know
and they want what's best for you.
Exactly, and they do want that. And so I was hard-headed. I probably still am. I was just like, I didn't understand why they were pushing me so hard, and it put a lot of pressure on me because I felt like I split my whole family up. I moved away from home when I was 9 with just my mom and one of my brothers, while my dad and my 2 brothers stayed back. And so I felt like I needed to succeed to feel like I had, not ruined the family. And that put a lot on me. My relationship with my dad kind of grew apart, even though my dad's like the best person ever.
Yeah.
And then my mom, she was the one that was kind of pushing me in gymnastics, and that kind of strained our relationship for a really long time.
Yeah. I feel like that's deep because I know a lot of guys who play basketball and their parents push them to the point to where they don't even want to play anymore. I know for myself, growing up and really loving basketball and playing it my whole life, kind of the same thing, like mom and dad pushing me to be the best version of myself, on the floor and really wanted me to succeed. You get to the point sometime where like you just want to, have that equal balance, especially during those pivotal years of your young childhood. You're taking it and putting so much time into a sport rather than, other interests. So you want it to work out in the end. You don't want to feel like you wasted that time. So I agree 100%. And I read something, you were like, you had to train for like 36 hours out of the week. And I'm just like, man, that's crazy at a young age to be training that long. So like, do you feel part of your childhood was taken away from you?
It's interesting to think back on it because I think I was so invested and so involved that I didn't realize that it was taken away. And when I look back, it's like it still wasn't taken away because I got to go on so many trips. Like I went to Italy, I went to South Africa when I was like 12, and my parents have never got that chance or opportunity. So I'm really grateful for all the people I met. Yeah, like sometimes it's like I didn't really have a childhood, but I learned so much at such a young age that it was all worth it.
You got to cherish, you just got to hone all that in and be grateful for it at the end of the day.
Exactly.
So like, talk about just, being a part of the Olympics and accomplishing so much at a young age.
So I actually didn't go to the Olympics.
Oh, no.
No.
Okay.
So the year 2012, which is when I had like the potential to go, I was 15 instead of 16. So you have to be turning 16 the year of the Olympics, and I was 4 months too young.
Okay.
By 2013, that's when my injury came about. So then 2016 was out of the picture.
So you transitioned into like wanting to go to UCLA and everything. Yeah. Okay. So talk about that a little bit. Just, pursuing an opportunity at UCLA and, being so good there and accomplishing so much.
So at first, I remember getting there my freshman year, and I think I had just got back into it. I took 2 years off. My senior year is when I finally got to come back and compete. Okay. And I just knew I wanted to go to UCLA because it was the only college I knew.
Oh, really?
I was like, I don't know what college is. I don't know any other college, but everyone talked about UCLA and Miss Val.
So, that's crazy. So there wasn't like 3, 4, 5 options. It was like, UCLA, that's it. That's where I want to be.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't complain, though. It's in LA by the beach. I mean,
exactly. I was like, pros and cons. I weighed them out, and I was like,
why not? Why not? That's crazy. So talk about Miss Val and her impact on you. I know you said she helped you find that love and passion again. So just talk about like your relationship with her and just, some of the things you went through at UCLA as far as like gymnastics and just being a student.
So one thing that I love about me and Miss Val's relationship is it did not come easy. And I think you could look at us now and be like, oh, they've always had that type of bond.
Okay.
No, not
at all.
My freshman year, I came in and I was probably a nightmare. Really? And she kind of was the one that help pick me back up and piece me together. But it was, I think as elite gymnasts, a lot of us have so many mental issues that we come in and we try to compartmentalize it all our entire lives.
Yeah.
And so we just get to college and we're like wild children.
Yeah.
And thankfully, she allowed us to express ourselves in ways that I know a lot of coaches don't. And on top of that, what else was that? I don't remember what I was going to say. What was the question?
What was like your relationship with her, and like how was she able to help you like positively as far as like finding that love and passion again for
I feel like, yeah, by allowing us really to express ourselves and caring about me more than just a gymnast, because when I went to, before that, I was known as like, you know, just the gymnast. That's all I knew myself to be.
Nobody really knew you full circle.
Yeah. And so when she was like, I remember one day we were having a conversation. She was like, I'm so happy, like, you're not like this straight A student. And it was like, really? She was like, yeah, because like you would do what you had to get done with, to like be done with school, to get through school, and you would take life and have all these experiences. And I know a lot of coaches probably would. I remember one day I was like, hey, Miss Val, I already had something scheduled that day. Like I was going to hold a shoot. I was going to be, you know, the director
doing
and photographer.
Like,
and she was like, all right, just
go do it.
A personal day, like do that. And I was like,
that's so big. I feel like a lot of coaches don't take the necessary time to really learn and figure out who their players really are outside of the arena. And that's so big, and getting the best out of that person on and off the floor, I feel like, because you have to build that relationship. And if you don't, then there's going to be all of those other things that come into play that are negative that the coach isn't going to want to put up with. But it's just like, man, did you even ask me like how I was doing today or how things are going? It's just more so, man, you didn't score this or you didn't do that. So I'm angry with you, you know? So that's definitely big, that she, you know, took the time. Like you said, like you have to build a relationship. When you first got there, it wasn't all green. It was, you know, you had your ups and downs, and she had to figure you out, and you kind of had to figure her out, I feel like, too. So that's like big.
Also, when there's not that trust between the player and the coach, you're not gonna get the best results.
Exactly.
That
has to be pivotal. Talk about a little bit as far as student athletes and being paid. Are you an advocate for that?
100%.
All right, so give me your viewpoint on it. I definitely think they should get paid. I know it's a different time for me, at least. In high school, kids weren't really on Instagram, and if they were, they didn't have the millions and hundreds of thousands of followers quite yet. But now with the kids that are in high school, they're kind of like building their own brand. Aside from basketball already, whether it's fashion or just, you know, having that voice and having all those followers at a young age. So talk about that a little bit and why you think they should get paid.
So I believe that, especially, I think there needs to be certain things that need to be monitored. But for instance, when you can't even take something that you enjoy doing on the side and you can't make a living off of that, that's when it's the worst. Because it's like, I wanted to write a poetry book, which I actually have a poem that will explain all my thoughts on this bill. Okay. So I'm going to pull out my phone.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to read it.
Go ahead and do that.
Lost connection when there's talk of compensation, as if there should only be gratification for the scholarships provided across the nation, as we watch NCAA profit over $1 billion off the back of athletes, filling up arena seats, enjoying all the close defeats, and when I saw all my retweets, that money went to everyone but me. The NCAA aids in providing the stepping stones to our path, something that very few of us could afford to do on our own. And in return, we sign away our names without question, thinking that's the only way to pay our loan. So yes, I talk about money for the ones that earn more for NCAA than their scholarship's worth. The ones that are on a full ride, not making a dime, of course. The ones with jerseys still being sold in the student store. And the ones that continue watching their families struggle and be poor. But put that aside because this is something you can't ignore. The unfathomable denial to claim our own unique likeness and name. Our inability to utilize our opportunities the same as any other student that has a different type of scholarship. To earn a profit off a YouTube clip. To be a DJ and earn a tip, or to be a programmer who creates a software chip. Unable to promote our other projects because it's connected to our name. they'll pull your eligibility, and you'll be the one to blame. Identity and opportunity all misplaced, a favorless taste of dishonesty and corruption. The SB 206 bill was long overdue to make an eruption. Giving sports that have a younger peaking age a chance to make money at the Olympics and in college still compete, something that no teenager should have to decide, choosing the wrong thing, feeling incomplete. This bill gives the unfortunate stories before us the ability to not repeat. And together, athletes will rise to rightfully earn what we deserve in our feet.
Yeah, that's fire. That's fire. And you touched on so much in there. I wanna talk about each little thing you touched on, but I can't because it's so much. But just the fact that the NCAA doesn't understand, aside from the scholarship money we're getting, like some people are struggling. Like some people's families are really struggling. So yeah, it might, take care of our housing and a little bit of groceries here and there and our books and all that. But it's like, it's so much more to life.
When you think about, especially living in LA, that money, it goes straight to rent. I know so many friends that live with their parents because their parents need help with money, and so they're paying the rent for their parents.
Yeah.
And, all these different things. But on top of that, I feel like we have the right to you can't disconnect yourself from your image and name and likeness.
Exactly.
So I can't promote something because I do a sport.
Right.
Like, that's so messed up on so many levels.
Yeah, it's crazy. And me being, an athlete for 5 years and playing basketball and seeing all the time and dedication I'm putting into this sport and trying to get the best out of it from my coaches, fans, teammates, and all this. And to be like, some people literally say they go home hungry and all that. Like, that's just unacceptable to me. Like, and I think recently they started something where like majority of the high, D1s were giving their student athletes free food, but it's not like at every university. I went to a Division II school, so it's definitely tough that these athletes can't get paid and with all that they go through, and they literally have to run through a wall for these universities and don't get any sort of compensation.
On top of that, I feel like we're so invested in our sports for the full 4 years or 5 years that if we had the opportunity and the means to go and pursue other things and get our foot in the door before our college career is over, then we could have like this head start and help us not just fall. Because NCAA talks about helping us on the field and off the field, but I don't see anything off the field and I don't see anything after.
Right.
We're disposable to them.
Yeah. I was talking to one of my teammates recently, actually, and he was saying like, man, like at least we know we have the work ethic and we can push through anything. So when his boss tells him to do something, it's like second to none. Like, oh, I've done stuff way harder than this. But when it came to him applying for jobs and trying to find something, he had put so much time into basketball, in his craft, individually, just so he can be his best version. But when it was time to apply for jobs, it was just like, man, like he didn't have any sort of experience. So it was 2 times as hard for him to find something and really, wait that time for a job to accept him and hire him and be comfortable, because he just didn't have that experience because he had put so much time in, being a student athlete.
Exactly.
So you were on the shop, right?
Yeah.
And they signed the bill and everything. Just talk about that experience as being amongst like LeBron and some of those guys, because I know like I haven't been around LeBron. I don't think so. And just like being around that sort of like greatness and being in that room, like how was that?
It was surreal,
right?
But it was also such a funny story because it was like my agent was like, "Yeah, you're just gonna be like standing there next to Governor Newton while he signs the bill." So I was like, "All right, cool." I didn't really know what's happening, and like 10 minutes before I go on, I asked my friend, I was like, "Hey, so what exactly is happening?" And she's like, "You're gonna be on the shop with like LeBron."
That's so fire! Like I'm watching all of the shows, and it's such good content and what they're talking about, and the variety of people they have on there, from actors to actors to athletes to whoever it is. Like it's a good mesh of individuals that go in there.
Yeah, no, they're awesome. And Nancy Skinner, the one that fought for this whole entire bill, has been such a forefront leader that she's just outstanding as a woman and as a person and everything that she's done for sports. So it's really cool to see.
Okay. Yeah, that's dope. I'm like, man, I need to get on the shop. They need to hear some of my insight. I can bring something to the table. Yeah. So talking about like you being a young role model for individuals and dealing with the negative side of social media, how do you cope with those type of comments in people?
I think that there's a lot of different ways. So for me, everything is energy.
Energy is everything.
You know?
I'm starting to realize that more.
Exactly.
It's everything.
And you can let things like wash over you, or you can let them affect you negatively or positively.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, sometimes my heart goes out to the people that put negative things out. Like, I'm like, I want to reach my hand.
Yeah, I wish like, you your best.
Give you a hug,
yeah.
You know? Because you're hurting.
Yeah.
And you're in pain, and I don't know the reason for that.
Right.
But it's so much easier to to type something positive than negative.
Right.
You know? And so I just feel like it's easier also to let it wash over you.
Okay.
And whatever energy they're putting out, they'll get full-fold back.
Mm-hmm.
So
unfortunately,
always, you know, being mindful of what you put out there, because you never know what someone's going through.
You never know.
And it took me a really long time to develop the skin that I have to be able to
not give a fuck, basically, right? To like do you and be, you know, accepting of yourself and all that. I feel you 110% with that. I'm trying to work on that, not caring more so attitude what people have to say. Obviously, like your loved ones, you cherish what they have to say and you take it and you apply what you can from it. But just the individuals that I guess you could say are hating and all that stuff, just learn just to, you know, keep doing you.
Yeah.
You know, and not necessarily worry too much about it.
Yeah.
So I get that. Okay, we can go ahead and transition into this since it's right after. So take me through, I know we talked about UCLA already and whatnot, but take me through just a little bit more in detail. Just in 2018, the Pac-12 Gymnastics Championship, the Michael Jackson tribute. Just take me through that, like before, like mentally, and after seeing like the videos go viral and the Perfect 10 performance and all that.
Okay, so my junior year, actually, remember Pac-12's, my routine first went viral. Okay. And it had like 80 million views on Facebook and then got deleted because of copyright issues. Gymnastics was in a really weird time during that period. Okay. Because it was still all the Larry Nassar trials and no one was really looking for the light in gymnastics. Okay. And then my senior year is when I'm sure, you know, 100 million people saw the video. So it was kind of interesting because I wasn't expecting any of the stuff that followed it, really. Okay. So it was like... It
opened up a lot of doors for you?
So many. And I was like, well, I hate social media, but I love it for this reason. Yeah. It's given me a lot of opportunities and practically a job right now. So I just remember my friends were like screenshotting things and they were like, this celebrity said this about it. Because I had to get off social media.
It became like too much during that time?
It was so much. Okay. Like every time I'd open my phone, there was thousands, yeah. And it was actually Malia's birthday that like day, and I felt so bad because I was like my life was going wild.
Yeah, you want to like cherish that day for her and everything.
And so my mom actually was in town and she held this beautiful thing at my apartment. She decorated the whole thing for her, so we got that time still. But we like flew the next day to New York, and I was on Good Morning America, and it was wild. And then from there, it's like I had to get back, train, and we traveled that weekend for a competition. So I was in school competing, interviewing left and right, and like trying to do all these things and stay.
Yeah, that's what we say. You needed a moment to breathe. Yeah, definitely.
That's why this time is great.
Right. And that's crazy though. Like how you said, you know, Malia's birthday was during the time, and you're just getting big, and you don't really know. Like I guess when it happens, you don't really know how you're going to react till it actually happens. Yeah. You know, so I can only imagine, like, you know, video going viral. You've been doing it your whole life.
And that's the thing that always kills me, because it's like, I've always been a beam person my entire life. That's what I was known for when I was an elite. Okay. And now everyone's like, oh, floor. Yeah. I'm like, oh, that's not even like my good thing. Yeah. But whatever, we'll take it. And I'm glad that I actually have the pass that I did, because I feel like I'd be really uncomfortable in this situation if I wasn't already like acclaimed as an elite gymnast. Okay. Yeah. Because we were saying earlier, I was like, you're the LeBron James of gymnastics. We're gonna go ahead. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and throw that on there real quick. LeBron James, because he's so great, like on and off the floor. It's crazy. So how were you able to, like, you just talked about like how everything just kind of like hit you so fast and everything. So how were you able to find that like equal balance between training and just living life at that point? Ooh, there wasn't a lot of balance in the beginning. Okay. It was me just kind of traveling everywhere and doing a lot of things, and I realized it's like your phone takes so much energy, and the second I'd be able to sit down, which would only be for a second, I would be on my phone, and I'm like, all right, I have to be selfish for this
a little
time.
bit, yeah. I need the me time.
Yeah,
for sure.
So I'm like, let me put this away. Like it was weeks before I finally got to sit down and journal about like what I was feeling. So I needed to
did you have to get
time.
like 2 phones?
No,
you have to go that far. That'd be crazier.
Yes, I feel like
you just throw social media on one end.
I feel like I need one because like
definitely
it's a lot.
I'm telling you, throw social media on one phone and the other one more personal.
Yeah, and I'm also really bad at like giving out my number.
So you're just like, here, just hit me up.
2 phones. I just got in trouble with that today.
Really? We want to talk about that a little bit. You want to take us through that?
I was longboarding, and this person came up and they were like, oh, you want me to take a video? And I'm like, you know what? Actually, I really do.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing happened.
A little conversation. Like, we should hang out sometime. Yeah, it happens. It happens. It's longboarding. That's funny, though. That's funny. So, back to a little bit like how you said you were, started writing and blogging and whatnot. So, I read your blog, Living Normal Abnormally. And I just want to commend you for, speaking up on like the flaws, You know
a lot about me now.
I had to do my research. Come on now. I had to do my research a little bit. But I just want to commend you for that, because when people see like people like you, for instance, with such a huge following, they only think of like all the good things you're going through and not full circle of like you being actually a human, and you go through some of the same stuff like others go through. So I want to commend you for just talking about your flaws and bringing them to light, so the people who do share those same flaws are able to have someone they relate to,
That's
so
kind of why I started doing it.
Exactly. Yeah. I feel like that's what's most important. And I feel like with me and my story, 3 knee surgeries later within like the last 5 years of my collegiate career, and just talking about the mental aspect that I went through just with all the rehab and stuff, I feel like I don't want to say I owe it to anybody, but I feel like, I'm the person that needs to speak up on these things to help the next, young athlete that's aspiring to, play collegiate, basketball or, go on with it further.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you're doing this.
Yeah. So why, so why do you feel, it's important to like share your flaws as well as the positives?
I think it's so easy to put, the best part of ourselves on social media.
Right.
And when I was going through all these things, like it was my junior year when I started having my stomach issues, and I'm like, I'm dying.
Yeah.
And I'm alone, and no one else is going through this. Everyone on social media is beautiful and smiling and lives this glamorous life.
Right.
And I've always been a pretty open book. So I was like, I feel like I need to do this to help others, not feel like they're the only ones. And remember, like, my skin condition, like, I have this lovely guy. And I got that in 2008. I remember waking up one day, and I'm like,
yeah, like
I don't know what this is. Like,
what's
do I have ringworm?
Yeah.
So, like, I remember getting it cut, and they were like, it's going to go away in 3 years. And now it's
a part of you.
Wait, 12 years later?
Right,
and it's only, like, multiplied. So, I feel like it was really important. The feedback that I've gotten back is kind of the thing that has helped me continue speaking.
Means the most to you.
Yeah, because it's like, I think you simultaneously, while helping others, you help yourself and realize, like, okay, yeah, I'm not the only one, and this is giving a lot of people, like, hope. And I've had so many people, like, I got to remove my bandages today because you allowed me to do that. And it's like, that's all that.
That's so dope. I appreciate that you're doing that, because, like you said, people need to understand, with the huge following, like, there's the positives, but you got to learn people full circle to really know like who they are and what they go through on a daily basis. And I feel like even with mental health, just like people being more comfortable speaking out on that recently, I feel like guys like Kevin Love and like DeMar DeRozan and NBA talking about it more so, because I feel like when you initially tell someone like, oh, you're depressed, or oh, you're going through anxiety, like they look at it as a form of weakness. Rather than like, oh, well, let's seek help or see, how you can, move past those type of things. So just like you said, just talking about that type of stuff is important. And, we got to continue to bring more awareness to it and, find different, outlets that people cope with, with those type of things. Right. So how you said in your quote on NBC News, you said the sport did not define me anymore. And that hits home for me, like I said before. Just like basketball just doesn't define me anymore. And I found that out recently, maybe 4 or 5 months ago. And it was hard for me to step away because, I put so much hard work and dedication and love into this sport. It's probably like one of my first loves. and for it to come to me just feeling overwhelmed with it, with all the knee surgeries and trying to get back to my original self, and finally saying like, you know what, like I'm interested in a lot of other things, and I feel like this is taking a lot of my time and stepping away from it. So take me through like your feeling of knowing it was time to step away.
I'm almost grateful that I got injured when I was 16.
Okay.
Because it did give me a lot of time to go through my first like dip.
Same. Like I was probably I want to say 17 when I went through my first injury, and it made me a whole better person and a more well-rounded person, because all I knew was basketball. All you knew was probably gymnastics. So yeah, go ahead.
So you get to take that time, and it's like figure other things out and get savvy with it.
Right.
And so then when you're actually done with it, which I don't know if you've experienced it yet, like a second dip almost, or is it like I'm good now? Like I feel like I didn't really go through a second dip.
I feel like I'm a huge basketball fan. Yeah. So I still get like the anxiety that comes with the happiness and all of that, just watching my favorite players and teams. So I get that enjoyment. I get to see like my bros who play professionally, and I get to kind of live through them. But a second dip, I mean, I think when I do watch it, sometimes I miss it a little bit.
Yeah, which is always, I feel like it's always going to be a part of us. Like, we're always probably going to miss it a little bit.
Right. But sometimes then I'm like, man, three knee surgeries later and stuff, I don't want to go through that again. I don't even want to chance it. So then I'm appreciative of everything that's, what it's taught me so far in my life and how I can apply it to the next phase.
Right.
I
was just watching videos the other night of me, and I was like, wow, okay, I'm kind of getting a little, like, I miss this
feeling. I miss the
feeling. It's a feeling of, like, trying to recreate that performance aspect and that.
Yeah, all those fans out there and, giving it your all. And, yeah, definitely. I feel like that's the big part, like, being my parents being able to come watch me play and my friends and hearing that feedback and, people telling you great game, kill, and all that stuff. Yeah. What advice would you give your younger self to help overcome adversity? Like with everything you know now?
I would tell myself to speak up for myself more, stand up for myself, because I feel like back then I was so scared, and I feel like sometimes I still am. Like I still hold on to those feelings, and like I don't like to vocalize. I don't like hurting other people or making things weird. So it's like just being able to really speak my mind and be honest with myself and other people is something that I would tell myself to be sooner. Definitely.
I would say the same. Just being able to, speak up and tell people exactly how I'm feeling, like in the moment, not waiting and then feeling overwhelmed about it.
Yeah, because you don't even know what you're feeling in that moment when you try to compartmentalize everything, and then you blow up and you're like, wow, I don't know what I'm actually upset.
Yeah, because I started getting like anxiety in the sense that I'm trying to please too many people. Like I'm putting 110 into it, knowing what I want out of it. And then, I have your parents, your friends, your coaches, all these people telling you like, yo, you got to be great. You got to do this. You got to do that. And it just becomes like, yo, like, relax. Like, like this isn't me 110%. Like I'm so, my mind is into other things too,
So what was your like motivation in basketball? Like who was it? Was it you or was it?
I would like to say I'm very self-motivated.
Nice.
Very self-motivated. I didn't really have anyone in my family necessarily like to really look up to. Kobe was big in my life as far as just like finding that motivation though. Right now my favorite player is Russell Westbrook. So like his energy is crazy, like on the floor. And just to speak on Kobe a little bit, because he sponsored my high school. So I got to meet him maybe twice. We got to go and watch him talk. And I've been watching video. I was watching a video this morning. He was talking about how to like outwork your potential. And like that just hits so hard. And that's kind of like what I wanted to do. Like I was putting 110% into basketball, like literally like goals, like college scholarship, professional, like the list goes on. But I feel like, I was self-motivated. And I just, took that time out, and I think what made me want to start playing basketball was video games, honestly. I was just playing video games, and Dwayne Wade was like my favorite player growing up at a young age. Then I kind of transitioned into Kobe and everything he stood for, and just his mentality is crazy, like his work ethic and how you can apply that to, like you said, to so many things in life. So I would say, kudos to all of them.
Yeah.
And all that. So like who is your like the person you look up to as far as like with gymnastics and everything, like at a young age? Who are you looking up to?
I didn't really watch like sports or gymnastics growing up. So It's funny. I remember always getting asked that question, and it was like,
I don't really know. Yeah.
But now I realize it's like all my teammates that were side by side with me. It's like they're the reason why I kept going and getting to work next to them and keep getting pushed and have a reason to come in that day. When you go through struggle with someone, it makes you guys that much closer. It makes you guys that much better. So
Facts. No, that's facts. You guys, that's big. And I guess that was me too. Dealing with my second and third knee surgery, my teammates were like, I love them to death. So I'm like, man, I got to keep trying to play. Like, I got to come back this time and be better. So that was my motivation. And kind of like Miss Val, she was, so meaningful to you. My last coach, Isaac Williams, he meant so much to me. And for me to have to step away and him being my coach, I felt bad. But I definitely cherish everything about him because he's made me, more comfortable when I got on the floor. I know before him, I was so worried about the numbers and stuff, and he would always tell me Akil, you're putting too much pressure on yourself. Have fun, like be you, have fun, man. All the accolades and all that will come, but just have fun in the moment. And I wasn't able to do that consistently, but I definitely appreciate him realizing that's what I was really going through, putting too much pressure on myself.
I'm glad you experienced that.
Yeah.
And I'm glad especially your last year because that's what you can leave with, remembering. Because I feel like so many times we put so much pressure on ourselves to be this quote-unquote perfect that doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. It doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah.
And that's so big. You put so much, but you just know you put so much time on it and individual training that you expect yourself to reach perfection when that isn't always the case. So we'll transition a little bit from all the sports and all that stuff. How would you define yourself in one word?
Ooh, Malia, I need help with this.
How would you define her in one word? That's tough, right?
I one
word.
But I feel like that's a weird word to use too. But free spirit.
Free spirit. Unique.
Ooh, eccentric.
Eccentric. No?
I'm just kidding. Okay.
Explain that. But why would you say that though? Explain that a little bit.
Because it's a uniqueness to it. It doesn't really fit a box because I feel like I've always tried to define redefine boxes.
Right.
In terms of
always trying to step outside and not just be held in. And I feel like sports keep you inside of a box.
Yes.
And that's why I was so eager to step outside and experience something new, How would you what is your definition of self-love?
I've actually contemplated a lot during this time, and I talked to one of the Earth Gang members, Lou.
Okay. Was this when you were on live?
I'm live, and I'm so upset I didn't save it, and then I screen recorded it, and there's no volume, so I'm just really sad.
Yeah,
but anyways,
it's all good. In due time, it'll happen again.
It was a great conversation, and he hit his full year of celibacy, actually.
That's so cleansing.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I think about.
Yes. So this month of May has been really dedicated to myself and living a healthier lifestyle of what self-love really means.
Right.
And getting familiar with loneliness and aloneness. I feel like it's so easy to preach self-love, and sometimes I question if I really felt that way, and some days it's a lot easier to wake up and be I feel great about myself, and other days you're nitpicking every little thing.
Yes.
And so I feel like one of the greatest things is it's always going to be this journey that you're constantly on, and your 100% is going to look different than your 100% yesterday.
Facts.
And we learn a lot about that in sports because not every day is going to be the same, and you're not going to feel great every day.
Yep.
But it's learning to really get comfortable with the things you weren't always comfortable with. And I feel like that's what I've learned a lot of self-loving is taking the things that I was so insecure about and now loving them.
Yeah. Quarantine has been so cleansing for me. I feel mentally, physically, emotionally, just being able to, like I said, be around my loved ones, really communicate with my loved ones and really cherish this moment and take it all in because, sports have consumed my life for so many years and I haven't recently been able to really cherish being around my family and all this time, and now being here and everything, it just makes me feel 10 times better. I'm in the gym working out now, working on my body and everything, so people can't call me skinny anymore. But so just all that just means so much to me right now. So what's kind of your motto right now and you're living by? Because I know it changes. It has to change, right?
All the time. And I feel like I have so many, and I told you I was going to look through my phone before, and I found like 5 different ones.
Yeah, I mean, give us a couple of them if you want.
So kind of something we were talking about was sharing our story. I have this tattoo on my arm that's Psalm 119, 130, and it's the unfolding of your words gives light. It gives understanding to the simple.
Okay.
And so for me, I feel like I actually found it in a book I was reading, and it was about like religion and so many of these things she was questioning.
Right.
And she was like, it's not necessarily about poetry, but at the end of the day it is, because our words that we formulate create homes and a community with one another to share our stories and encourage other people and find acceptance through them. So that's one of the huge ones that I love. I also love Still Waters Run Deep, because no matter how hectic things are at the surface, when you go low and your core values, all these things, they will always remain the same.
Facts.
And I guess my coach really instilled this in us. So if you asked any UCLA gymnast, this has to be one of our mottos, because we hear it so many times. But life is a series of choices, and the choices we make dictate the life we live.
Right. Trials and tribulations.
Yeah.
Trial and error.
So it's like we have control over our minds, you know. Everything we do, everything we think
we have
starts
a choice.
with that. We create our destiny, and I think that also goes hand in hand with not everything happens for a reason, but we give reason to the things that happen. And
yeah. That's deep. That's facts though. And I feel like people lose sight of that. We always have a choice. Like, and we need to be like, everybody sometimes needs to be a little bit more selfish. And not worrying about, you know, trying to please everybody.
Yes, people pleasers are like my biggest pet peeve.
Yeah, exactly. But at the end of the day, it's just like you want people to be able to reach out to you and you be helpful.
Right.
But sometimes you gotta, you know, sometimes it's just not going to work out, or you have to say no, you know, just to give yourself that time.
Everyone needs to understand that you have to rely on yourself at the end of the day. And if you can't go to yourself for something, then you're not like living right. Billie Eilish has this quote that's like, if everyone were to drop dead this second and you were left with yourself and you were aspiring all these things that other people wanted of you, and you were left with all that, it would all be for nothing.
Nothing, yeah. That's crazy. All right, we're going to transition into a couple of hot questions, you know, real quick. Okay. And then some would you rather questions. Okay. So the first one is relationship status.
Single.
Looking for somebody?
No, you know what? And I think that's something with self-love is, if you would have asked me like a year ago, I was almost like a serial dater, I felt like. And
trying to find the right one?
Yeah, no. I feel like this is the right one. And like, there's so many things that I want to do. I see Malia over there. I'm sorry, that was
she's like, I'm the right one. I'm the right one.
You have to invest in yourself. And I think one of the poems that you were talking about earlier with me, it had to do with like it's loving yourself before, because you can't
love somebody else.
You can only recognize love when you know that love. And so you have to know that love within yourself in order to give it and receive it.
Facts.
So that's something that I've been working on for the past year.
One thing I despise is like people are like, you're supposed to do this for me, as far as like emotion. Like you're supposed, like, nah, like you're supposed to love yourself, and I'm supposed to be the cherry on top.
Yeah, like you guys are supposed to be elevating each other and one another and going in, you know, your own paths, but side by side, you know.
Well, you gotta coexist.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's just not something I don't know. Listen, I took a lot of time and invested a lot of time into people, and that's great. That's a different type of growth, but you need that self-growth before
to get you ready for that.
And I feel like where I'm at in life, there's so many things that I need to do before I can put any time. And I'm selfish.
I feel you. Now. You gotta be.
I have to.
You gotta be selfish with your time sometimes. If there was $20 million hanging off a cliff and the love of your life, which one would you save?
The love of my life, I would say my love. Yeah, like what?
I'm just asking. Some people say they might save the 20 mil. You just never know.
I'm gonna make the 20 mil on the side while saving that.
And I hear you. Yep. So, who's like one of the more famous people that have tried to pursue you, like DM anything?
That's tried pursuing me.
Yeah, like wanted to get. You can't put him on his blast. All right, it's all good. All right, who's one of the people that you've tried to pursue? Can you say that at least?
Who Who have I tried? I mean, so like.
She's like, spill the beans.
Well,
tell her spill the beans, Malia.
It's not that I like tried to pursue them in that way, but I remember this is gonna be so weird.
Is it really?
So my 6th grade crush was Lil Wayne.
And I saw you. He did like a happy birthday thing for you, right?
No, I did the happy birthday thing with him when I hit 1 million followers. I did a little tribute, a milli, and
yeah,
we
it was fire.
together.
No, I watched it. That was fire.
And I was like, wow. That was the love of my life right there when I was in 6th grade.
I understand. Nah, Lil Wayne's the GOAT. He's one of the GOATs in the in the rap industry and everything. He paved the way for a lot of guys.
Kidding? He is so like brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Real.
So let's transition to these would you rather questions. Would you rather lose all your money and valuables or all the pictures you have ever taken?
Ooh. That's really hard. There's no backup pictures. There's no hard drive.
Yeah, nothing. They're all gone. They're all gone.
I would say I'd rather lose the pictures though, because hopefully I have those memories, valuables, and like other things. Okay, yeah. Like,
don't you have the memory? Like,
you have to.
Facts. I'll take that.
Sometimes I look back at pictures though, and I'm like, I don't remember this.
That's funny. Would you rather have everything on your phone right now made public to everyone who searches your name, or never use a cell phone again?
Shoot, I hope I don't got nothing too bad.
Nothing too crazy. Which one you going with?
I'm gonna go with can I delete a couple things?
Couple things. Everything's out there. Everything.
I wish I could say not use my phone, but I might have to go with the other one because phone's crucial, man.
Everything goes out there
for the life of me.
Yeah, no, right now, definitely, it's probably very pivotal for you to have a cell phone. Would you rather be feared by all or loved by all?
Loved by all. Okay. Living out of fear is terrible.
It's terrible. Yeah. Would you rather lose all your memories from birth to now, or lose your ability to make long-term memories?
These are really good questions. I'm going to have to hold on to these and pocket them.
This is the last one. Give me something good.
Okay. I feel like the ability to remember, or like long-term.
Long-term?
Yeah, because but I don't know, because you'd still have a lot of the core values. I feel like everything that we've been through and every moment has shaped us to be this person. So who would we be if we didn't remember anything?
Exactly. That's why I'm like, I don't know. Would you rather lose all your memories from birth to now, or lose your ability to make long-term memories?
Well, because at least you'll have the short ones.
I can't remember anything already. So I'm just like, I don't really know.
I talked to someone in Swahili today, and that was because I remembered that from 3rd grade. So that would be
third grade. I don't remember anything like from elementary. I don't remember anything. But that's all I got for today. Any questions? Anybody? Any questions out there? Malia, any questions? Everybody's all good. Nobody? No more questions. We're good. All right. Quick little advertisement for my mom. I did this last time. I almost forgot it. So my mom is a massage therapist, and she has, therapeutic, things such as bath salts and all that stuff. So tune into BAM's therapeutic software. She launched her website last weekend, I believe. But her therapeutic essentials include salt scrubs, botanical bath salts, and herbal wraps. Her Instagram is _BAMS BAMS _massage therapy MASSAGETHERAPY. Tune into that.
What was that? No,
I'm about to say, damn, you didn't get that.
No, I'm about to go in there right now and get my work done.
For real. No, reach out to her, post whatever. She's dope. It's hard right now because massage therapists can't really do their thing. But all the athletes that listen and whatnot, check her out. You definitely need to keep your body right. That's one thing I did learn, man, going through all these injuries and whatnot. And shout out to my dad. Salute to the power. Salute to the power. Come to the gym. Come check it out. Come get some work in. And appreciate you, Katelyn, for taking the time. I know you're pretty busy, so making this time and you know, really making it worth it and everything. So I appreciate you coming on and, you know, having this conversation.
Thank you so much for having me. I've had a blast. These are great questions.
Appreciate that. So it's another Speak on the episode. It's your boy Akil. Until next time.